Guys, I need to put my phone down for this. Okay, there was a bombshell. I was thinking, okay, there's muscles. All right, there's tats. Okay. Guys, why did they turn around and it was Adam? Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone's doing okay and everyone's doing well. Another week of what? Love Island reviews. So as I usually end up always saying, number one, if you haven't yet subscribed, of course be sure to subscribe and definitely do join the family. Number two, please be sure to also follow me on my Instagram and also on my Twitter at SarahDestinyX. And number three, please stay get cozy and comfortable as we get into this review. Alrighty, so a lot to unpick, okay, and unpack. That was a 1 hour, I believe 1 hour 25 minute episode. So yeah, it was juicy. My notes are long. Guys, it's so hot. Can you see? My orange juice is definitely in the background. It's hot, okay? It's so hot here in the UK. So hopefully I do not start sweating in this review. But anyway, let's start with the girls talking. So one thing that I did note down, where it was nice to kind of see the OG girls and the Casa girls together. You know, many times in every season, there's clear division between the girls, but all the girls were together and they were of course speaking about their situation and how things are going. You guys know in the last episode it was the whole situ with Indiyah and Dami, and then Paige and Jax, and then Tasha and Coco and Andrew. Just a lot to speak about. So Tasha did say that it is a new day and that her and Billie snuggled at night. We're going to get into Tasha very soon because Tasha defo gave us scenes in tonight's episode. Coco said that it felt good to not have a snake in her bed, aka Andrew. Interesting. We're gonna get into them very soon because Andrew's singlet is getting torn in this review. Paige said that she's battling between her head and her heart. You guys already know the whole situation with Jax. Personally, we already know that Paige is going to take him back. Even as they speak, you know, she's always smiling, she's always still a bit giddy and stuff like that. So yeah, I think Paige right now is 100% just trying to play hard to get, to see the extent to which Jax is going to try and win her back. And Indiyah also mentioned that she spoke with Dami and it is really whatever it will be. So she's not really going to stress about the whole situation because of course he has made his bed and now he has to lie in it. So let's move on to the guys talking. Andrew said he wants to see what's going to happen throughout the day. You guys know we definitely get a lot of scenes with him and Tasha. So yeah, Andrew's singlet is getting torn. Jax said that he doesn't want to lose Paige. Very interesting because you were acting like you didn't mind me losing her a couple of days ago, but okay. Okay. Jay also said that he spoke to China and agreed that they should just be friends. I'm going to get into Jay and China soon. What I think about them still stands. I think Jay's wasting people's time, but we're going to get into Jay and China soon. Yeah, we will. So what do I want to mention here? Okay, so Andrew ended up bringing Tasha a drink. Okay, gosh, I don't even know what to say about Andrew anymore, guys. I'm so sorry. I just, I don't know. I'm sorry. It's unfortunately given wet wipe. Unfortunately, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know. I'm lost for words. I can't even speak. Jax ended up bringing Paige a drink too. Yeah, I think let me stop there because we're gonna digest them later on. But yeah, I'm gonna stop there. So let's move on to Tasha. Tasha was speaking to the guys and she ended up giving them Andrew's ring. So I believe Andrew packed his ring when they were on Castle Moore and gave it to her in her suitcase. And then she goes to speak to Luca, but she did say that she doesn't want the ring whatsoever. So I feel like Tasha once again is also still trying to show us, you know, this very sassy and fiery side. But we still do know, and as the episode does go on, we still know that she is very much still interested in Andrew. So right now it's just giving GCSE drama. So let's move on to Dami and Indiyah having a chat. Guys, if you follow me on Twitter, you know I make a lot of tweets about Dami, okay? I'm tearing his singlet every single when I say every single video and episode and review, I'm tearing Dami's singlet, right? Guys, I'm tearing his singlet, but I do like him and Indiyah together. Okay, let me know if you agree. It's okay if you don't, by the way. I don't know, I do like them together. But anyway, Dami and Indiyah of course are having a conversation, and he did say that he is sorry because he felt like when they spoke yesterday that those words didn't really come out, and that's true. I don't actually think Dami did say he was sorry. If anything, he was still just gisting her on the situation and how many kisses he gave Sam Lesnar over and all that stuff as well. But what was very weird was, number one, he actually asked her, you know, how many times did you, or have you and Deji kissed, or how many times did you kiss? And she said it's none of your business. And then he mentioned something very weird as well, and he said, oh yeah, like, you know, I'm just a man. And Is that an excuse for your behavior and why it was warranted, or you think it is okay? No. So very interesting. But Dami did make it very clear that he does still want Indiyah, and I'm thinking, wait, what happened to spring summer? Because you definitely said spring summer is not over, but it's given spring summer is now over. And he also said that he doesn't actually get butterflies with spring summer. He gets butterflies a lot with Indiyah. I don't know. Indiyah was also being very respectful as always, and I think this is another reason why a lot of people just naturally like Indiyah as a person, because she comes across as being very straightforward and very level-headed, but also very respectful. So she did say that she's just going to leave it, she's not going to look too much into it for now, but she didn't necessarily understand what Dami was saying, and I don't feel like a lot of people really understood what Dami was saying, but it's very clear that Dami does 100% still want to get to know Indiyah, and Summer is just no longer his vibe. Even though Summer is still here. And I'm only saying that because I can't get over that line, like, oh, Summer isn't over, like, Dami. Anyway, let's move on to Andrew pulling Tasha for a chat. You guys already know how I feel about Andrew and Tasha. Unfortunately, if you do come for my, or not if you do come to my reviews to listen about me really digest the whole Andrew and Tasha situ, I'm very sorry, but I just don't have it in me to do it. I just sigh every time because it's like, do you know what I mean? It's just like, but anyway, I'll briefly touch on what they spoke about. But he basically said that he wants another chance, and she said that she feels like no, it's 100% been tarnished and that there's no coming back. What was very weird was she said that she has a very straight face. Andrew, you can see that she's not in the mood. What does Andrew go and say? Can we cuddle? Can we cuddle? Do I look like I'm in a cuddling mood? Okay, very weird and mad. Very weird and mad. So let's move on to nighttime in the villa. Andrew and Jax were speaking, of course, the two guys who are trying to win their girls back. Dami and Paige were having a conversation, and Paige said that she feels like she knows that Jax still cares, but she just doesn't really know where her head is at the moment, and she definitely appreciates him trying, because when he tries, he puts a smile on her face. While she was speaking to Dami, Jax decided to get was it tissue? I think it was tissue. Or a napkin, one of the two, and he wrote on the napkin, I miss you, honey buns, and put it in her bed so that by the time she's ready to go to bed, she's going to open up her covers or she's going to feel something and it's going to be that note. I have words, but we're going to get into that soon. Of course, Dami is still, of course, speaking to Paige, and he lets Paige know that he 100% wants Indiyah. Like, summer is not around, summer's over, spring, summer's done. I want Indiyah and I want her now. So very interesting to kind of see the 360 that Dami has taken and the approach that he's taken as well. I'm going to get into it later, but I do feel like the Castle Moore people, as always, this usually happens anyway. Sometimes you get some Castle Moore candidates that just come to rattle the villa, but are they just there as furniture at this point? Because it's like everyone is doing a 360 on the people that they came back from Castle Moore with. But we're gonna get to that very soon. Anyway, so Deji, Deji at the moment currently is speaking to the guys, and he randomly says, oh, I feel like something stupid's about to happen. I feel like something stupid's about to happen. Because now Paige and Dami have finished their conversation, and Dami is now walking towards where Indiyah is sitting. So he literally is just like, oh yeah, like, I feel like something silly is gonna happen. And he predicted it right, okay? Because Dami 100% ended up pulling Indiyah for a chat. Dami and Indiyah, of course, having a conversation, and he just let her know, sis, I miss you, okay? Indiyah, I miss you, okay? I'm loving you and I'm missing you. And he also said that she also said as well, sorry, that she cannot compare the connection that she has with Deji to the connection that she has with Dami. So she 100% does also see and feel that there is a very good connection between her and Dami that she doesn't actually have with Deji, which is another thing as well. I did tweet randomly, like, is Deji in this villa? Because it's like, we're not seeing him at all. Anyway, in the meantime, whilst that is going on, Tasha and Andrew went for a chat. Would I say they went for a chat, or would I say they were just staring at each other? Because there wasn't really much talking going on. I found it a bit weird, if I'm going to be honest. I definitely found it a bit weird. But anyway, Tasha was saying that she can't really get the whole Coco situation out of her head. I don't blame I don't blame her, because no guys, that episode was actually, that was great TV. That was actually great TV. Like, he was like, oh yeah, like I licked it, I sucked it, or whatever. Like, you know, just the amnesia. Okay, Andrew, definitely amnesia. But she said, of course, she cannot get the situation out of her head. He said that, you know, you're 100% all that I want. She started smiling at him, and she started smiling back. And that was it. Like, they were literally just, there was no close of the convo. There was just smiling. Literally just smiling. Let's move on to Josh and Danica having a chat, okay? Because if you watched my first review, first ever review for Castle Moore, I said this, okay? And I kept saying it because I genuinely I genuinely, sorry, did know this, that Josh was just not into Danica as much as he played it out to be. I did say this, that unfortunately I do feel like Danica was 100% his ticket to get into the villa, and now that he's in the villa, my man's moving like he has a cold shoulder. So anyway, Josh and Danica were having a chat, and he said that, you know, he's never been in a relationship before, so he wants to take things slow, which basically means you're letting her know that I don't think this is going to work. So he did say that he definitely wants to build a friendship foundation, which, like I said, is okay and it's fine. But I just feel like from Castle Moore, you could low-key tell that Danica was 100% more interested in Josh than he was. And at the end of the day, she was the only really single person in Castle Moore anyway. So if he didn't attach to her, would he have made it back to the main villa? Probably not. But that's that. We're going to get into them very soon again, because Josh. Let's move on to Dami and Summer having a chat. Summer basically said that she already knows exactly what it is, and yeah, Summer is basically over. She was very irritated and very pissed off, if I'm going to be very honest with you. I'm sure if you watched the episode as well, she was like screwing, she was rolling her eyes, she was looking to the side. Dami's just thinking, oh, you're going to think I'm a mug, you're going to think I'm muggy, but I'm just so sorry, like my feelings are just 100% with Indiyah. She did use his line. She was like, it is what it is until it isn't. And I was like, oh, didn't give the same effect, but sis, she tried. Okay, definitely tried. But she did say that her feelings were hurt, and I do 100% understand. Like, it's another thing that we keep seeing, especially when it does come to the whole Castle Moore and the OG villas and everyone coming back together. It's like Andrew again. Andrew wasted Coco's time, you want to go back to Tasha. Also, Dami, you're wasting Summer, it's not Over's time, and you want to go back to Indiyah. So I do understand why she was hurt, and maybe she did honestly like Dami that way, but Dami 100% wants he's indie. So let's move on to Deji and Indiyah talking. So after Dami and Summer had their chat, Deji and Indiyah were also breaking the ice. He asked her very bluntly, like, do you want to get back with Dami? Well, he did ask her bluntly, like, okay, what exactly is it? But he said that she had no respect for herself, and many people, ooh, when that happened, you can definitely tell that it did rub Indiyah off the wrong way. You know, she was saying, I don't think it's anything to do with like, the respect that I don't have for myself. So I think Deji 100% did try to explain why he did say that. Like, you know, he completely disrespected you and you seem to want to go back. Like, where's your self-respect? Why would you want to go back to that type of situation? But like I did say, unfortunately, I do like Dami and Indiyah together. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, just a little bit. Okay, just a little bit. But yeah, I do feel like Indiyah was still quite respectful when it came to the whole Deji situation, to be honest. But the heart can't help who and what it loves. So let's move on to the bedtime. Paige, of course, ended up finding her note. Jax then jumped into her bed smiling. You guys already know this. I did say this last week. Unfortunately, I don't actually care for Paige's storyline anymore. And I don't care for Jax either. So yeah, let's move on to Dami. He ended up hugging Summer because that was basically like the hug goodbye, because he decided that he was going to sleep outside on the daybed with Andrew. So it is 100% official. Dami wants his indie, and he's prepared to do whatever it takes to prove to Indiyah that he does really like her on such a level. So let's move on to Tasha and Billie. In fact, wait, okay, so that's happened, right? Now we're going to speak about the things that happen at night time, because you know they like to do the night cameras and give us info. Let's start off with Tasha and Billie, okay? Let's start off with Tasha and Billie, because they were biting each other's ears. They were biting each other's ears. Hugging, she was rubbing his head. I was thinking, Tasha's scary. And people don't seem to understand this. Tasha is actually scary. Like, Andrew, even though I don't really care for the situation, but Andrew literally poured his entire heart out to you. And you're saying, oh yeah, just a bit. But you and Billie are biting each other's ears in bed. You're scary, okay? You're actually scary. Jax was there writing paragraphs. We're gonna find out why he decided to write paragraphs the following day anyway. And yeah, it was honestly just that whole Tasha situation, if I'm going to be honest with you. And this is another thing that I did say in one of my old reviews as well. I think it was last week, that I don't actually think Tasha and Andrew are compatible. They don't have peace in their couple. I don't think they've ever had peace. There's always been problems between them. So I don't really seem to understand why they seem to be forcing what exactly they think is there. But that's just my personal opinion. Please let me know if you agree or disagree. You guys know I love reading your comments. So let's move on to the following morning. The Casa girls were in bed, and the main... the Casa girls were in bed having a conversation. And I did say this again, like, although it seems like things were getting better between them, there still is a very clear divide. And I do understand, you know, the OG girls have known each other for like 3 to 4 weeks now, and the Casa girls, it has only been like a week plus. So it may take a while to, you know, really get into the villa. I think the only person who's really making a name for himself out of the whole Casa Moore crew is probably Billie. Yeah, and that's only because he's attached to Tasha, if we're going to be honest. So let's move on to the OG girls talking. Tasha was saying that she doesn't know anymore. I just don't understand that. Okay, you and Andrew had a conversation. You said you want to see how things go. You and Billie are in bed. You're buying each other's airs. So what do you mean, like, you don't know anymore? She did say as well, like, oh, I just can't get that girl, you know, after the things that you've done with that girl. And I did think that was quite rude. You guys know how I feel about things like that on this channel anyway. Everyone has a name. Whether you like someone or you don't like them, respect the fact that they have a name. You know that her name is Coco. So stop trying to be shady with the whole that girl comment. Tasha, we're watching you, babe. I mean, you've been watching Tasha. You guys know this. Indiyah, of course, was updating the girls about Dami, and that, of course, he did say that he still has feelings for her. And Paige, of course, was speaking about the tissue note. Let's move on to the boys and their morning conversations. Andrew said that he's going to stay positive, but they were telling him that Billie and Tasha were cuddling at night, so he was looking a bit lost. Yeah. Andrew just needs to stand up. I just think Andrew just needs to rise. I don't know what Tasha has done to his head, which has made him act like this, but it's just giving desperate at this moment. Jax was also saying that he likes putting a smile on Paige's face, that it means the world to him, okay? So yeah, let's move on to Tasha and Ekin-Su having a conversation. Were they really having a conversation, or was Tasha crying? I don't want to sound heartless or rude or like blunt or anything, but you know, when Tasha when Tasha started crying, I was just like, again, because I just feel like she's been crying a lot in these episodes. I understand it is very emotional and stuff, but it has only been 4 weeks. You guys aren't married with like 6 kids, having to figure out the divorce and who's going to who. So I've low-key, as bad as it sounds, I feel like I am very much over Tasha's tears. But anyway, she was crying again. She said she doesn't really know what to do, the whole Andrew and Billie situation. Ekin-Su did give her some advice, which is another thing. Ekin-Su is definitely turned into Mother Teresa in this villa. But Ekin-Su did say, like, she's just going to say, like, from friend to friend, like sister to sister, like, I can tell that you look at Andrew differently to how you look at Billie. And I was just thinking, we're going back to this #1 storyline that we tried so hard, okay? We tried so hard to leave this storyline alone, but we seem to be back. Let's move on to Josh and Danica talking. It's a real shame, if I'm going to be honest with you, because I feel like Danica, she's a pretty girl, unless maybe they're just not showing us scenes in the villa, because everyone is just a bit confused. Like, it's been so long and Danica hasn't been able to graft for someone, or she hasn't been able to be in a successful couple. But anyway, Danica and Josh were having a conversation. My thoughts still stand. Josh doesn't like her like that. While still having a conversation, Ekin-Su and Luca were speaking about Danica and how they perceive Josh, and they don't actually believe that she is, no, not she is, that he is 100% into her, which is what we've actually all been saying. When you're really into someone, it shows. So when you're not into them, it definitely shows. So refreshing. So Billie ended up pulling Gemma for a chat. Ekin-Su clocked it first, and she did say, oh, in fact, before we get into that, Danica ended up, Ekin-Su and Luca ended up calling Danica to go over to her. And they just wanted to know, oh, what was that conversation about? And Danica was just saying, oh yeah, like, I just need to talk to him. Like, I just need to talk to him. So I feel like maybe Danica just doesn't see what everyone else in the video is seeing, and also what the public is seeing. But Josh is 100% not into her like that. I'm still gonna go into that later on in the review. Anyway. Sorry guys, that orange juice is in my throat. So let's move on to Billie pulling Gemma for a chat. Ekin-Su was the first person who clocked it, and even when Ekin-Su clocked it, she was just like, oh my gosh, like, they're over there. So it was giving Mother Teresa, but I'm gonna stir the pot a tiny bit. Luca, of course, googly eyes, preying her like usual. You guys really know how I feel about Luca and this whole Gemma possessiveness and obsessive situ. I do think and find it a bit weird. She is 19 at the end of the day. Not saying that you can't like someone at 19 or so on and so forth, but the way Luca moves towards Gemma is uncomfortable to watch at this point. I think that's what I'm trying to say. So let's move on to... Where are we moving on to? Oh, Jax. Okay, so let's move on to Jax. Jax was speaking with the guys, and he basically let them know that he wrote a page, you know, or technically he wrote a page about Paige, but he did write about Paige, and basically that he wants to try and make it up to her. I believe it was on his phone. He ended up writing a text message to her, and he said that, you know, Paige is exactly what he wants, and he just wants her to 100% know that. What was quite cute was Dami actually offered to check the punctuation. He was like, oh bro, you want me to check the punctuation? I'm thinking, oh, that's actually quite cute. Maybe he's English and punctuation and spelling is just poor. So let's move on to the nighttime. Dami ended up pulling China to join Jay and Luca for a chat. I found that a bit weird, if I'm going to be honest. Like, it was giving it was giving Dami's talk show, because Dami was on that side, China, Jay, and then Luca, and Dami was literally just asking her, oh, so what are your intentions, you know, like, what's this, what's that? And she was just like, yeah, like, it kind of like is what it is. But I don't really understand why that conversation took place, if I'm going to be honest. Please let me know if I missed the point, but I didn't actually get the point of that whole interaction whatsoever. So let's move on to Andrew and Coco. He essentially said that he wanted to clear the air with her, because you guys know, Coco done breaking news, somebody was touching my little twins. But anyway, she said the truth will always come out. It was definitely a lot of back and forth. I don't know if I feel like Andrew's apology was genuine. I feel like he honestly just made that apology to, one, just try and see what he can clear of the air, and also number two, just let her know, bro, I'm serious about Tasha. I don't want you coming to I don't want you coming to ruin anything whatsoever. So of course, I don't know if it was really much of an apology, if I'm going to be very honest with you, but it low-key also did come across like Andrew was trying to push her, like, oh, seeing as you went to go and tell everyone in the villa. And it's just like, okay, well, why would you want to keep that a secret, especially if I did potentially like you and you did tell me that you liked me back? So I have already been saying this since last week, and if you've been watching these reviews, you definitely know Andrew was never about that life. He definitely did try and do something to try and prove to the cast of girls that he wasn't a mug, and also prove to the guys as well that he wasn't a mug, but it ended up backfiring because you were doing all of that, yet Tasha was still in your mind. So yeah, that wasn't really much of an apology. I don't feel like that was quite a good conversation in general, to be honest. But you can tell Coco's just like, listen, in the outside world, I get guys, okay? And you're not going to make me look like a mug in this villa. So let's move on again to Danica and Josh. And this was the conversation that finalized all that I've been saying, okay, since they linked up in Casamore. But anyway, he essentially said that he doesn't feel like there's any sparks. And I told you, well, guys, what did I tell you? Josh was not interested in Danica like that. It was obvious. It was honestly so obvious. But he did say he didn't feel like there were any sparks whatsoever, and that they should both go back to being single and single. So now at this point, Danica's just a bit confused, like, okay, what does that mean? Like, are we still friends? Do you still want to this? And he was just like, no, like, I just feel like we should just both just be single. So Danica then kept on talking. So it was low-key given, okay, she's not getting the memo. And even me, I was cringe. I was actually cringing because Danica was just like, okay, so like, yeah, and okay then. So defo gave, like, she was trying to dissect the information and understand what exactly he was trying to tell her, and really read into everything he was saying and overly analyze about things as well. I was cringing, guys. I won't lie. I was cringing. And then he did say he just doesn't feel like anything is going to develop or grow romantically. So she was just like, oh, like, okay. So even when Danica did speak to the confessionals again, she was saying, you know, I just kind of just want to figure out, like, you know, where he said he's at, like, what does he mean by that, blah, blah, blah. So it is a shame. I don't feel like Danica has had the best of luck and chance and choice and option, if I'm going to be honest, in this villa. But yeah, let's move on to Luca talking to everyone about the situation with Gemma and Billie. Don't really care too much about it, if I'm going to be honest. I just feel like Luca needs to relax. It's really not that deep. Like, girls like guys that are obsessed in a healthy way. You are obsessed in a very, very, very distasteful way, and also quite an icky way. So you should just kind of relax. I feel like, and you guys know this as well, Gemma did say she doesn't like guys that are too on her. She likes a guy that's a bit mean. And Luca is just not understanding that assignment. So that's what I'm going to say about that. So let's get into Ekin-Su getting a text, and all the islanders were told to gather around the fire pit. You guys know when they're told to gather around the fire pit, it's serious business, okay? Definitely serious business. But of course, you guys know that on Friday, the public were given the opportunity to vote for their favorite couple, and the couple that had the least votes risked being dumped from the island. So in no particular order, this is how the couples were pulled out. Another thing as well, I do think more dumpings just need to be happening and coming, because there's just too many people, okay? There's too many people in that villa. So starting off with Davide and Ekin-Su, they were first. Josh and Danica, I was very surprised to hear them. Deji and Indiyah, producers are messy, okay, because Dami was the one that had to read that they were safe. And it low-key looked like Deji also wanted to laugh as well, because you can tell that Dami was quite irritated. So he's probably thinking, oh my gosh, there's a potential that I may be going home. Luca and Gemma were next. Tasha and Billie. Yeah. Jackson Page. Andrew and Coco, I won't lie, I was surprised. And when Andrew and Coco were called, Tasha looked at Andrew and she was smiling. So I honestly feel like this whole week there is going to be more storylines between Tasha and Andrew, unfortunately. Dami and Summer and Jay and China are the last couples, okay? So they're currently the ones right now from our head, technically. They're still standing outside that fire pit. Of course, someone has already gone home. And tomorrow night, one couple is going to be going home. So now that the public's votes have gone ahead, I'm thinking, are the public going to be able to vote for who's going off tomorrow, as in whoever received the lowest votes, or is the power going to be in the hands of the islanders? If it is going to be in the hands of the islanders, I do think they are going to send Jay and China home, only because Jay, you've been in that villa for quite a while, you haven't really made much progress, and you have already let everyone know that you want to get to know China on a friendship level. So yeah, as everything, Jay and China are going home. Another side note as well, China was like very much screwing, like she kept rolling her eyes. She was just like, I was just thinking, babe, like, awkward, okay? But I don't think Dami and Summer are going to go home. I think Dami and... I know, guys, it sounds bad. I do want to see Dami and Indiyah back together. I do want to see them back together. And Dami as much as Dami is very problematic, he does bring very good vibes to the villa. Maybe Summer and Deji should couple up. I don't know. But I think Jay and China are definitely going home. Of course, you guys know we ended up getting a tomorrow night. And there was a bombshell. Guys, I need to put my phone down for this. Okay, there was a bombshell. I was thinking, okay, there's muscles. All right, there's tats. Okay. Guys, why did they turn around and it was Adam Collard, to be precise? And by the way, that's another thing as well. I remember people's surnames quite a lot. Don't ask why. Adam from season... What was Adam? I think Adam was season 4. Was Adam season 4? We're on season 8 now. Probably season 4. I don't think it was season 5. That sounds a bit too recent. I think Adam was season 4. Guys, why is Adam back? Like, why is Adam back? So Love Island this year, yeah, the producers are definitely putting a spin on very, very, very interesting things. I was very... Adam is back. Very, very, very interesting. So tomorrow will also be very interesting as well. Also to see if the islanders do notice or pick up on who he is, and also if he's been in Love Island before. If you don't know about Adam, go on YouTube, type in Adam Collard season 4 Love Island, and you will see all the juicy clips, okay, that you need to see there. But once again, I want to thank you guys so much for watching another week of Love Island reviews. So as I usually and always say, number 1, please feel free to comment down below. I love reading what you guys actually thought of the episodes. Number 2, if you haven't yet subscribed, of course be sure to subscribe and definitely join the family. And number 3, please do take care, stay blessed, and I shall see you tomorrow.